I had this like epiphany one time. It's a funny story. But basically, the realization was we exist in our lives, right? And basically, every experience that we have and cultivate, and the way that we choose to show up in our lives becomes like the tapestry of our life, that once our lifetime here is complete, the tapestry of everything that we've experienced during that lifetime is kind of what we offer back to not humanity, but back to like, I guess the universe would be the best way to put it. I got sunburned, I'm peeling. And so the kind of picture that I was given was like, have you ever heard of the Akashic records? It's like all the records of anything and anyone that has ever occurred or will occur in all space and time, in this like universal, obviously huge library. And I feel like it's energetic. I don't know too much about it, to be honest with you, but it feels something like that too, where think of like, for my 80s and 90s babies and before, like a floppy disk, right? And how you could keep like floppy disks, or even like, I guess like DVDs or like a cassette tape, and you could have like a library of things like that. It's kind of like that, but it's a tapestry, like almost like a quilt, but it's more like knit or sewn or like crocheted together of some sort. And it somehow contains all the energy and all the experiences and of one life in each kind of tapestry that kind of looks like a quilt that's kind of hanging like a dry cleaner, like a bunch of tapestries on this thing that's kind of holding them with like two prongs at the top. And you can kind of like swivel through them, like on Clueless when she's like picking out her outfit from her closet, and she has like the computer thing where it can just kind of like sort through and pick out the one, like a dry cleaner. Anyways, my point is that in this life we get to experience things. Some of the experiences we choose, and some of them kind of choose us, and some of them we, I believe, chose before we got here. And some of them are surprises and delightful, and some of them are unspeakable tragedies and all these things. And I feel like after life as we know it on this planet, in this 3D reality realm, is complete, we each get to take our tapestry of our lifetime, and whether we've existed in more than one lifetime, however that works, we get to take that tapestry of all the experience of our life, and it goes somehow downloads into this tapestry. It's kind of like a floppy disk. And that becomes our contribution to existence, to the universe, even after life as we know it here on this planet, in this 3D realm. And so, for example, think about like the afterlife, like where our souls go after we transition out of this physical body, at whatever point that happens for anyone. I feel like there's this library of tapestries of everyone's life ever. And once time and space as we know it here is finished, is complete, we get to exist in like this ethereal, energetic, spiritual way. And we don't get to create life experiences like we do here exactly in the same way, to be in these bodies, to feel so deeply love and grief and shame and exhaustion and beauty and awe and pleasure and sex and food, and like all the things that are particular to the human experience in this physical body, in this realm, right? we will no longer be able to create new experiences, but what we will have will be every person who has ever lived on this planet, in this reality, their tapestry, and that will be their contribution to the eternal, ethereal, universal realm. And anybody who has ever existed, this is just all in theory, go with me, anybody who has ever existed will have the opportunity to tap into, almost to like you check out a book at a library, to tap into anyone's tapestry and really almost like go into that body and experience what it felt like, what that trauma felt like, what that heartbreak, that betrayal, that joy, that love, that beauty, those experiences, what they felt like, and be able to jump in and out of different experiences and different people's, human beings' embodiment of those set experiences and their translation and interpretation of it through their body, through their perspective, through their lives, through their hearts, and feel what it felt like to have to be courageous enough to speak up for yourself, and what kinds of things they had to battle within their subconscious, within their bodies and their sensations and all these things, and just the beauty of like being alive as a human. And we will get to, in our ethereal, energetic spirits, go into these tapestries of any given life at any given time and be able to feel that experience in a very real way. And I don't know if that'll be like, if that's eternity, if that's how we get to spend eternity. And right now is just kind of like the fun experiencing of it, even though it can be excruciatingly painful at times. But that is part of being fully alive. That is part of it. Being fully alive doesn't mean you're fully aligned and you're fully in joy and coherence and everything is, I'm so happy and content and fulfilled and like provided for and there's no uncertainty. No, being fully alive means that this world is completely uncertain and at times feels evil and all this shit. And being fully alive means all of it. And it could include depression. It could include like overwhelm and grief and loss and like hard truths and guilt and shame and all kinds of everything, all of it. And it just like brought me such appreciation for like my life, no matter what I'm experiencing. I think it's why I can experience any, first of all, I've just kind of found a home in discomfort and bullshit. Unfortunately, it has just been like a couple decades of that, if not more. And so I had to learn to find beauty in discomfort and in really hard experiences like betrayal, like all kinds of bullshit, and find the beauty in the lesson of it, find the beauty in the processing of the grief of it, find the beauty in the, actually, I'm gonna choose to stay with myself in this discomfort and choose me, and let's see what happens when I do that. Find the beauty in that discomfort. And it's why I have so much versatility in my life. Like, maybe that's not the word, I can't think of it right now, but I'm strong and I will get through anything, because ultimately I know that nothing is permanent here. I know that everything is happening for me ultimately, no matter how terrible or hard or unfair it seems or is. And I know that life is about experiencing life in its fullness, in its the full spectrum of this human experience. And that doesn't mean that I shy away from the difficult moments or experiences or emotions. It means that, holy shit, look how alive I am, that I can feel this passionate, this much rage, this much like whatever it is, this much grief, this much sorrow, melancholy, the depth of everything I can feel. And I think that's just became like a really beautiful invitation for me to just live my life so present, and to often remember to take a step back from the small moment that has sucked me in to a very grounded experience, especially in motherhood, and take a step back and be like, what a privilege it is to be alive right now, experiencing this, and to be able to experience this and allow this to, in some space and time, be my contribution to the eternal, ethereal, universal realm that goes on forever after all is said and done here. Isn't that cool? I thought that was so fun. Like, it's hard for me to capture that in words because it was such a huge, like, concept that my brain had to, like, open up to new ways of thinking in order to kind of grasp the concepts of it. But I was like, that's so cool.